Hi, I'm Kevin Hill, and today we're going to do another fun painting, so let's get started. We'll start off today with a 2-inch brush and a little bit of blue. And we'll come up here to the corners and drop in a nice sky. I want the corners darker, and then I'll let it get lighter as it comes down toward the horizon. With a clean 2-inch brush, we can blend out this sky. I'm using big X's, and I'm not blending all of the light and dark areas away. I'm leaving some of them in the sky. With the 1-inch brush and some white, we can add in some clouds up here. I'm using the corner of the brush, and I'm shaping these little clouds. Mostly just worried about the outside edge. Not too concerned with the inside of the cloud yet. There we go. Back to the 2-inch brush, and we can blend out these clouds with tiny circles. And when you're all done with the bottom, you can fluff the clouds right up, kind of grabbing the top and lifting them. And then blend lightly across to soften them. With some dark brown on the knife, we can add in a mountain up here. Maybe this is going to be a nice big mountain up here today. And I'm just worried about the outside shape right now. There we go. Just drop it right in. With a 2-inch brush, we can blend this mountain out. I'm grabbing it at the top and pulling it right down. And that makes it look very soft and misty at the bottom. There we go. With some white and brown and a little bit of yellow, we can highlight this mountain up here. I'm touching at the top and letting it gently run all the way down the mountain. I want all that breaking in there, so I'm not pushing very hard. That's how you get that. Very light. Let your knife kind of float down the mountain. It's that light. Here's another one right there. There we go. With the 1-inch brush and a little bit of green, we can tap in a distant tree line back here. This is very light. I don't want much detail back here. It's too far away for much detail. Tap it right in. Maybe there's a little bit of color right over here. And right there. Now to make little trees out of this, we'll just grab some of the color on the canvas and pull it up. Just like this. Very light. Now with the green, that's just a little bit darker than that one, we can tap in another little row of trees. These are closer, so they should be much darker. There we go. And we can pull the trees up the same way. Now I'll tap the 1-inch brush into some green and yellow. And with that, I want to create some trees back here. I'm using kind of the top of the brush, tapping them right in. I'm shaping each little tree, not just tapping up here and hoping trees are going to appear. They're not too dark because they're pretty far away. With the 2-inch brush, we can add some water right down here. Just pulling it right in from the sides. Now since we're working on the water, now would be a good time to pull down some reflections. Grabbing the base of the trees and just gently pulling them down. I'll turn the brush and go lightly across to get some reflections in the water. With some yellow and green, On the 1-inch brush, we can tap on a little bit of highlight to these trees. We don't need too much. These trees are very far away. But when you're tapping on your highlight, be sure you're leaving some dark at the bottom of each tree. Each tree should have its own little shadow behind it, underneath it. It'll really make your tree pop forward, even these ones that are far away. With some white on the knife, we can rub in a water line. Try to keep these lines very straight. And you have to push with the knife pretty hard to get them to come off. With some dark brown on the knife, we can add in some more land back here. Just rubbing it right in with the knife. We want a lot of texture on here. Back to a brush, and we can tap in some bushes here. Just like that. We need the dark part on here so that when we highlight it, the highlights will show up. Without all this dark, your highlight won't show. There we go. Tap them right in. In fact, maybe we'll just fill all this in with dark over here. Also, pull down for some reflections. With the 2-inch brush and some nice dark color, we can tap in a big tree up here. I'm using mostly the corner of the brush, and I'm shaping each little limb. With the 1-inch brush, we can tap in a small tree up here. This one's not nearly as big as the other one, but it still has to be pretty dark. There we go. Now back to the 2-inch brush, and we can pull down some reflections. And we'll go lightly across. Kind of blends them and makes them look soft. With a very dark brown, we can add in some tree trunks right up here. Just drop them right in. But this paint has to be very dark, and I want some texture on the canvas. And maybe there's a few smaller ones. With some brown and white on the knife, we can highlight all these trees. Just touching with the knife and letting it bounce right along the tree. With the 1-inch brush and some yellow and green, we can add some highlight to some of these bushes back here. Now I'm leaving a lot of the dark when I highlight, and I'm thinking about each individual little bush. There we go. With some brown, we can add some rocks to this painting. Maybe even like a little shore right here. And maybe there's some dirt right here. Now with some white on the knife, we can scratch in some water lines. Rub them right in. With the knife, we can scratch out a little cabin up here. Not very big, just like that. With some black on the knife, we can block in this little cabin up here. It needs to be very dark, but we will come back and add some highlight. Now we can add a little bit of highlight to this cabin with the knife. And I'm just letting it bounce right along to get some boards, like old weathered boards. Now we can take some of these bushes and tuck them right under this cabin. Maybe nobody lives here anymore, so it's all overgrown. Be sure to leave some dark in your bushes. Back to the 2-inch brush, and we can drop in some leaves on these trees. Now we have a lot of dark color behind there, but I want a few leaves that extend out into this blue a little. And some that extend over the trunk. With the 1-inch brush, we can tap on some highlights to these trees. I'm using mostly the corner of the brush, and I'm leaving a lot of dark. You see, I'm kind of picking out my limb shapes and highlighting the top of those, and leaving a dark shadow underneath. Alright, well I think we're done. I had a lot of fun, I hope you did too. Don't forget to check out my DVD for sale and also my website. I'll put those links below. And thanks for watching.